Good morning. Thanks to everyone for joining. My name is Stephen Riddick, and today we are going to be talking about Microsoft Outlook, some different tips and tricks to hopefully help you better utilize this great platform. So really briefly, before we dive in, first and foremost, a big thank you for coming. I know everyone's time is extremely valuable, so I do appreciate you taking the time to spend with us today. On that note, I do want to respect your time the best we can. While I know the webinar says an hour, we always try to keep these to 30 minutes, allow you to get on with your day. As Clayton mentioned, we do mute everyone upon arrival just to make the presentation go as seamless as possible and limit any background noise. But that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear back from you. The chat windows on the right are open for questions, for chat, for feedback. We've been doing these webinar series for a couple of years now. They've always gotten great responses, but we are always looking to improve. So if you have any topics that you would like to see in the future or ways that you think we could enhance these, please let us know. We always want to, these are for you. And so we want to make sure we're getting topics that are relevant and that are meaningful to you. So don't hesitate to provide feedback. So very briefly, before we do dive in, some introductions. I was scanning the registration list, and while a lot of you know me and know CSP, I did see a few new names. So very briefly there, we are CSP. We are a 23-year-old managed IT services and solutions firm based here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have been blessed with many years of some fantastic partnerships across the state in helping people leverage IT and businesses leverage IT more specifically to the best of their abilities. We scan everything from IT support, ongoing contracts, to project work for phone systems, server upgrades, networking, security was our fastest growing area last year, with cloud being number 2. So that's where we're seeing our growth, but happy to help wherever you need it. As for me, I'm Stephen Riddick. I'm our VP of Sales and Marketing. I've been here 6 years now and loved every second of it. So with that, we will jump on into the presentation. Thank you again. A very brief preface, though, to articulate what's behind my demo. Obviously, with Microsoft, there are different versions out there. So I am running Outlook 2016. That is the most recent version of Outlook from Microsoft. So if you are using an older dated solution, 2013, 2010, hopefully not 2007, things may look a little different, but hopefully the same principles will still continue on. And maybe a good excuse to upgrade too, because there are some really cool things that you can now do with 2016. On the back end, we run our systems on Office 365, so it's all cloud hosted, running Exchange 2016 in the Microsoft Office 365 cloud. So that shouldn't have too big of an impact on what it may look like to you, but there could be some small features that are impact based upon running this in the cloud. And again, though, we are always highly recommending to put your email in the cloud because it makes sense these days. So my goal for today is honestly for each attendee to learn something new. I will say there is a challenge when I do things like this. Everyone's starting from a different place. We ended up, thank you all for joining. We had a lot of registrants. I'm sure there's some beginners out there and there's some experts. So my solution, I've tried to create some demos that have information for anyone from beginners to experts. So it's giving specific nuggets of info. I mean, it is just that. It's tips and tricks. This isn't a full demo. This isn't trying to show you everything you need to know on how to use Office 365. But again, it is just some specific nuggets of information that I find very helpful. So we're not trying to boil the ocean here. I try to include some basic tips for beginners as well as some more advanced things that will hopefully help the more articulate of you who have been using Outlook very advanced for a long time now. So my request, be patient. Even if it's repetitive early, I think we'll get into some information that will hopefully be helpful to you as well. With that, I tried to break it down into 3 little classes. We have an Outlook 101, 201, and 301, obviously starting with Outlook 101 for a beginner level. 4 different tips and tricks here for Outlook 101 that we will touch on. And for today, I'm actually going to spend the majority of our time in an actual demo as opposed to death by PowerPoint. We are going to jump right into Outlook and show things specifically from here. So this is a fake demo account that I've set up. It is for Mr. Jim Valvano. It is obviously March. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina, so very fitting that when we have a Mr. Valvano's email up in front of us. So the first thing I want to show, and this is a new feature to 2016 that it is extremely helpful And it's something that I don't think enough people have known about. I spoke with our engineers when I was prepping for this to try to understand the types of questions that they get. And I think this is a great place to start and a great helper. And this is right here at the very top in the middle of your screen. Tell me what you want to do. Everyone remembers over in the top right the old help links. And those were extremely annoying at best. It was hard to find the information you needed and link you to very convoluted, tough web pages with a lot of information that was never what you needed it for. So Microsoft has cleaned that up a lot. Besides giving you help links, it won't just tell you how to do it, it'll do it for you. So for example, let's say I couldn't remember how to set an out of office. Easter coming up. Let's say I was taking a vacation and I couldn't remember how to set up an out of office. So I start typing out of office. It'll automatically take me to that. I'm actually offline right now at the moment for Mr. Valvano, but again, you get the general point. I have my other email client up that is connected, so sorry about that. But you get the general point that instead of having to say, hey, where do I set my out of office? You can just start typing it and it'll automatically find it for you. Same with if I needed help maybe creating my signature. I couldn't remember where to go to create a signature for me. I start typing it in and I go straight to my signature and it will find that for me. So an extremely easy navigation, something that a lot of people have missed in the new version that is a great way to get around. The second item in the 100 level that I wanted to speak to is increasing font sizes. Actually, in the straw poll of our help desk, they said this was the #1 request from users is how do I adjust font sizes for me? So there are a couple ways to do this. One, this is for the entire Microsoft Office suite, but something a lot of people miss. But right here, the very bottom right, if you see my mouse down here, you can automatically zoom in and zoom out directly from this feature right here. So a great place to just zoom if you need to be zooming. But there's also ways to adjust the permanent reading, all the panes, or if you're writing, the permanent writing. So one, for the permanent reading pane, if we come up here to view, again, right here at the top, we have our different ribbons that we can see. We go to the view ribbon, into the view settings, and then other settings. Right here, we can adjust our column font. So right now we're at 8, maybe I want to take it up to 14. Do the same for row font, take it up to 14. Message preview, let's also take that to 14. I hit OK, and you'll see everything automatically adjust. Obviously, became much larger in there now. Hopefully much easier to see. So a very easy way to customize, get the font size however you want it set up. So what about from a writing perspective? That was really the permanent reading. What about from the writing perspective? So if I were to come create a new email, as you can see right now, we're automatically set in 11 font and just sort of a standard email. So if I'm going to adjust that permanent writing, it's slightly different. If I go into my file, into options, into mail, and then, excuse me, let me just slide this over just a little bit. I have a pop-up over there. If I go into stationery and fonts, right here, I can then adjust my font. So this is for all of my stationery. If I want it to be 16 there. Now we're saying when I reply or forward a message, I also want that to be 16. And finally, composing and reading pane. Again, I'm going to change that to 16 as well. Okay. So now when I go to a new email, you will see automatically I'm typing at 16, whereas previously it was automatically set to font size of 11. Okay, so that was how to increase font sizes. Again, that was probably the top request that our engineers say they get. The next one is a little bit simpler, but I think it's something really to help people optimize how they use Outlook. People are in Outlook so often, so even saving a few quick seconds here or there can really add up over the course of the day to save you many minutes. And I think one great way to do that is to leverage navigation shortcuts and not just drag and drop or click and everything else. So for example, if I'm looking at this email, this is an email, say Tar Heels, if I right click on that, you see here are all my different options, but you see we also have all of these items that are underlined. So that is that's a shortcut to be able to get to exactly where you needed to go. So, well, again, it sounds very small, but let's say I wanted to move this to junk. I don't care about the Tar Heels theoretically if I'm Jim Valvano. So if I want to move that to junk, instead of right clicking and scrolling down to junk, I can see that's underlined in J. So I right click, all I do is hit J, it automatically goes there, and then I have the opportunity to block, never block, or do what I want to do with it. Maybe I'll say I want to block that sender as well. So I've blocked the sender and I've sent that email to junk. Much faster than going down, across, over. And again, it might just save me a few seconds, but over the course of the day, that can really add up. So I'd urge everybody to use navigation shortcuts. And finally, the final piece of our 101 section is going to be the search function. This is another area that Microsoft has optimized greatly in Outlook 2016. So right here in the top right, we have a search function. And as you can see, it is search the current mailbox. So this is almost the Google effect, as I'm terming it. A lot of people for so many long, and I'll admit I'm the same, but I have more folders than I can count. I can scroll down and down and down and file all of my different accounts and everything else into folders. What you're really starting to see is some people not even leveraging folders anymore because the search function is now so good. So if, for example, I wanted to find maybe a note from a recruit or a note from a booster or something like that, scouting report, whatever it is, here is the scouting report. Type scouting, it'll automatically search that. Actually, again, I am currently offline at the moment, so it may impact that. I don't have the network connection, so I do apologize, but you can search directly right from that. Another super easy way, though, is to right-click and then go to Find Related. So if I right-click, you see halfway down, I'm going to use a shortcut key to get there. I can say Find Related. So then immediately I can find messages in this conversation or conversations from the sender. So if I wanted to see all notes that Mr. Michael Bowman had sent me, say show me all notes from the sender, or if I want to see if there are a lot of replies, a lot of forwards, whether they're in different folders, wherever they may be, you can search, find all the messages in that conversation. So great search feature. Okay, so that was Outlook 101. Again, some of the basic things that we're seeing. Next, I wanted to move to Outlook 201. And really here in this section, it's really continuing sort of some of those that last point, but really all about optimization. So not necessarily new things, but how can you be faster in how you leverage Outlook? And I think we're all looking to save time. And so that's a few things I want to be talking about here. The first being leveraging quick steps, the ribbon, and the quick access toolbars. These are just great ways to get the buttons that you use most at your fingertips. 3 places to start there. One, you'll see right here in the middle of your main ribbon, your home menu, are your quick steps. And this is a fully customizable area to be able to give you whatever it is that you need at your fingertips. So let's say I get all kinds of emails from Coach K, and I want to move them automatically into that folder. Or maybe I get a daily scouting report that I want to be putting in there, or a daily recruiting update on what the recruits are doing. And I want all those emails to go into that folder. It's just something that I'm doing a lot. And again, I can set up a rule. We'll actually touch on that later, how to automatically do it. Maybe I don't want to automatically put it in that folder, but you know what? I want to read it and then move it to the folder. I've created a rule here, and in a second I'll show you how to do that, or created a quick step, where I can just automatically hit Coach K, and it's going to move that email into my Coach K folder. So you'll see the What an Inspiration. I put that automatically in the Coach K folder just at one click. If I want to forward things to my managers, I want to have an email to my team, reply and delete, whatever it may be, I can have these quick steps. So team email, that one's not even set up yet. I think the recruiting pitch, I set that up this morning. So maybe I'm sending an email to a lot of recruits. I have a common form factor template that I want to have available to go out. I've created this template, and it's right there at my fingertips. All I need to do is plug in who's it going to, enter their name in there, and I'm off and running. So how do we do this? It's honestly extremely simple. right here, create a new one. Create a new name it my quick step. Maybe I have a note to boosters and I want to be thanking them for coming out to the game. So I'm going to say booster thanks will be my title. I'm going to choose an action for it. I'm going to come down. I'm going to say, I'm going to make this a new message. If I know who I want to send it to automatically, I can. I'll say thanks. And I will say, thanks so much for your support. You're an integral part of our success. So I have that. This is an email that I'm going to send very often. I hit finish, and all of a sudden I have now this email in my quick steps right ready to go. So every day I need to send that email. I hit it. It's right there. It's ready. I enter the name, whoever I want to send that to, and boom, I'm ready to go. So a great way to, again, optimize how you leverage Outlook. Another thing to do is, so we have the ribbons here. This area right here is the ribbons. And while there is a standard setting with what a lot of people are used to, new emails, reply all, forward, a lot of people don't know this is completely customizable. So if there's certain things that you're finding you do a lot, all you need to do is right click and you can customize your ribbon. And again, this is a classic file structure. People should be used to seeing this, where you can add certain commands. Here are the popular commands. You can add it to your ribbon, or you can take commands out and, excuse me, well, that's actually not even currently on there, but remove them from the ribbon as well. So that's popular commands. Here are commands not in the ribbon. Here are all the commands. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can be adding things that you use very frequently and put them into your ribbon. And the last one is the quick access toolbar. This is just another way that Microsoft is trying to make it easier for us to use things. So obviously we have different ribbons. There's some things, and this is a very short one, but maybe I'm in email and I need a reply. Well, instead of going back to home and then reply, you can have a quick action toolbar here at the very top, and these are some very simple static icons that will automatically stay there. So for example, I put the reply in my quick action toolbar. So no matter where I am, if I need to reply, I hit reply and it's ready to go. You can manage this right here at the top. You can select what you want to have. You can create more commands and customize as much as you want. So 3 great ways to hopefully make your experience in Outlook that much faster. Okay, so the next item in the 201 section is how to move things. And if you're anything like me, again, I have too many folders. I'm always trying to keep organized. I mean, it can take me, if I'm out of the office at a day, it can take me an hour just to delete, move, organize, and get my Outlook back to where I want it to be. So I think it can be extremely efficient to find ways, or it'd be beneficial to find ways to make that experience more efficient for you. So the most classic way that people know of is to just move items. So if I just want to is to drag and drop. So if I want to take this email, drag and drop it, say, into my boosters folder, I can do it right there. And again, it's just a classic drag and drop feature. The next way, though, is, again, if you right-click, if there are a lot of things I want to move to very frequently, or I'm putting them in the same place, right-click, hit move, and here's going to be the last 10 folders that you've moved items to. And so this is a very simple way. Let's say at the end of my day, for example, if I have one client issue and I have a lot of emails back and forth with that client throughout the entire day, I can just hit move and then enter, put it in the inbox, put in the boosters, go down. There's another one, right click, put it where it needs to go. So a very, very simple way to hopefully move things faster than you're used to. Another good shortcut is Control-Shift-V. And at that is the shortcut for move items. You can automatically start typing boosters. I hit B there and it'll put you where you need to go, and hit enter, select it. It'll automatically move it into that folder. Again, for places that you want to move stuff to a lot, you can create quick steps for. You can also have a move to OneNote. Send your email to OneNote. If you are like me, use OneNote as a great way to store all your notes. Maybe an email needs to be attached to that. You can move directly to OneNote as well. All right. I hope that was helpful in finding a few ways to help to move things around and make your day more efficient. One other optimization item that we actually spoke to briefly in the quick steps section, but that is email templates. Email templates are something that I think can be used a lot to greatly streamline your day. If you find that you write similar emails constantly, you can create email templates. So one way we've already spoke to, again, if I wanted to send my booster note thanks or my recruiting pitch, come in here and create a new quick step with that. If there are too many or if that's cumbersome, there's another great way to do it. If you start drafting a new email, you type in whatever it is that you want. Maybe I send out a weekly note to my team about the practice schedule, and I have a template that I like. So weekly practice schedule. And I just want to have some basic features that every single week I know are going to be identical. Monday, always type out the days of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I can come and I can save as. And when I save as, if I save that as an Outlook template, is a weekly practice schedule, I save that. Yep. We have saved the changes, so we're fine there. If I come into new items, so I want to use that. New items, more items. If I choose my form, right here at the top, my user templates. And I have the weekly practice schedule. I open that. It's right there, ready to go, ready for me to send out that note to my team. And finally, the last thing in the 201 section, again, when it comes to optimizing and saving time, I think this is just such an easy way, a great enhancement from Microsoft in 2016 is the recently attached document. So used to, when you were trying to attach a file, I would insert, attach a file, and I would always have to go browse that PC and find that. One great thing they're doing now is they're automatically have the recent emails or recent documents that you've saved. You can automatically attach them right there. A much faster way to find the documents that you have been working on to attach those. Finally, we are going to move to Outlook 301. And I do apologize. I've, like always, a little more long-winded than I would like, running a little short on time, but I'll be very brief going through a couple of these 301 topics. So the first is the calendar, and this isn't something that we have talked about much or at all today, for that, but I think everybody is familiar with how to use an Outlook calendar at a most basic level. I think there are two great things or things that I've sometimes been asked about that I think can be helpful when using the calendar. The first is the time break. As everyone knows, and we actually get this question a decent amount, Outlook has, with standard by default, 30-minute time breaks. So you'll see when I have my blocks are all in 30-minute times. I think the reality is that isn't necessarily the normal day for everyone. A lot of people have days that are split more tightly than just in those 30-minute windows. So is there a good way to change those time breaks? And yes, there is. So when you're in the calendar feature, if you come into view, if you go into view settings, you go into other settings, you can see the time scale. So maybe I say, you know what, I want to make my day a 15-minute time scale. Okay. You can now see that each block here is 15 minutes long as opposed to the half hour in the standard default setting. One other thing that I get asked a lot about is categorization. So when I'm creating a new meeting, for example, if I'm creating a new appointment on my calendar, obviously this calendar is currently blank, but if you're anything like me, that calendar fills up very, very, very fast. Well, how do you see what type of things it is? How do you know if it's a personal appointment, if it's a corporate appointment, or whatever it may be? So you can categorize it with tags. And it's just a great way to organize your day, see where your time's being spent, know what's maybe can be moved, what's not. So maybe I want to create a tag for practice. So I know that this afternoon at 2 is going to be practice maybe at the arena, so PNC Arena. That'll be today. We're going to say that's from 2 until, and again, 3. And now I can create a tag. So last night when I was prepping, I went and created a tag. So it's going to be in blue. I tag it as blue. And all of a sudden, when that pops up on my calendar for later today, it is in blue. And whoops, I put that for yesterday. So it's 20 hours overdue. Excuse me. So I can though go back in and also categorize or customize, excuse me, my categories. I can name them. I name that one practice. Maybe I want to name green recruiting, so we will rename that recruiting. Maybe I want to have this one be media. And so then anything that I'm putting on my calendar, I can categorize accordingly. So maybe I know that tomorrow I need to be taking a trip to go see, or I guess McDonald's All-American game. Maybe that was last night. We'll pretend like it's tomorrow. So I put that in for Friday. You know what? I'm going to be gone all day for that event. I'm going to categorize that as recruiting, save it. It's on my calendar green. So it's a great way to help organize your calendar, see what big events and types of things you have. Okay, two final things to touch on. One is WebEx integration. I think as we join a world that is more collaborative, more remote users, using tools such as WebEx is incredibly important and valuable. Sharing screens, creating ad hoc video calls, something that we use very frequently internally here at CSP. But a lot of times to leverage conferencing tools such as that was a little burdensome in that if you're like me, you run your entire life off your Outlook calendar. Yet if you wanted to schedule a WebEx meeting, you would have to go into the WebEx portal, schedule a meeting in that portal. Well, now with an Outlook plugin, you can schedule, say, a WebEx meeting directly from Outlook. So maybe this afternoon at 2 o'clock, I wanted to have a conference call with all of our assistant coaches. So I'm going to create a new meeting request, whomever I want it to go to. I want to turn this coaches meeting. And right here at the very top, you can see on my ribbon, I have a toolbar for adding the WebEx meeting. So I want to turn this into a WebEx meeting. It'll automatically connect me with the WebEx server. I name it, say if I need a password, what services, we'll say WebEx audio. And once I hit OK, it will automatically set up this meeting for me as a WebEx meeting, and everything will be automatically prepared with the WebEx server. And lastly, as I said, I did speak with our engineers about things that they run into a lot. And these last two are really performance optimization type things to do. But when performance isn't as good as you'd like, things seem to be running slow, it is good to both auto archive as well as re-index periodically. Auto archive clears out a lot of the junk, a lot of things that have been there for a really long time. Re-indexing is great for search. So if you're finding your search capabilities aren't working as well as you would like, the re-indexing is good for that. So I'm going to briefly wrap by highlighting each of these. So one, to set up auto archiving, coming to File, into Options, into Advanced, and then you can set your auto archive settings wherever you want them to be. So you can run it however often, every 14 days. You can prompt it, whatever you want those settings to be. And then the key is, where do you want to send those old emails to? So I could set it, clean out items that are older than 6 months, put them in a folder, for example, clean things out. And then finally, last one, re-indexing. This is great to help with searches. So like Google, Microsoft indexes everything that it finds that's out there. And so it's a great way for Microsoft to know what's in your Outlook. So when you search, it can find it easily. So if we go to Options, we go to Search, and then we go to Indexing Options. Here on the Advanced, and actually, since I'm not connected right now, it's not going to let me do that. I apologize. And then rebuild your index, and it'll just take a few minutes. It'll re-index your entire mailbox, so your search feature should be much faster, much higher performing, much better optimized. So I do apologize. I ran 3 minutes over what I intended to do, but again, I wanted to thank you so much for your time. Clayton, I'm not sure. I think you were keeping an eye on the questions. Not sure if any questions came in. If so, I would be happy to address them.
We do have a couple questions. Our first question coming in today comes from Joseph. Joseph asks, how do you create an email signature in Outlook?
Yep, great question. Take it full circle, right back to where we started. I think the easiest way, if you don't know anything, I would bring you back to the tell me what you want to do. So if I want to create a signature, I can type signatures from Tell Me What to Do, and it'll take me right to the signatures and stationery area. If I want to create a new signature, I go in there. We'll title this one Valvano. Oh, whoops, that one's already in use. Sorry. We'll just say Coach V. And then when I'm in there, I come into his. I'm going to edit that. Valvano, coach of NC State Wolfpack. And now I can choose my default signature. So for any new message, it's going to show up as Valvano's and replying forward. So you can create multiple signatures to apply there. Maybe I want to save that. Maybe I want it to be the Jim Valvano one. So for new messages, I'm going to put in as Coach V. That's what we just named it as. Now my new message, Jim Valvano, coach of NC State Wolfpack. All right, Stuart, any others?
Our next question comes from Tony. Tony asks, what are the big differences between the desktop app and the web app version?
Definitely, great question. I will say Microsoft has made a lot of advancements in their web version. For many years, what's termed OWA, Outlook Web Access, was really just a shell of the classic Microsoft Outlook. I think from a feature and functionality standpoint, the new web access has really caught up extremely well. There are going to be some small things that you can't do in the web that you can still do with the desktop client, but I really don't find it to be too impacting. To me, the biggest thing, though, is while wireless and internet connectivity is becoming more common and frequent, you still have those times where it may not be the best. Maybe you're in a plane and GoGo's not working, or GoGo is extremely slow for whatever reason. Maybe you're driving, you're not driving, but you're on passenger, you need to send some emails. On the web version, you obviously have to have a solid internet connection to be able to access that. Whereas on the desktop, you could open it, run it on your desktop, draft all the emails, reply, clean up your email, and then as soon as you regain that connectivity, it'll sync with Exchange and catch up. Whereas with the web version, you would be out of luck if you did not have internet connectivity. All right, Clayton, any others?
Our final question we have for today comes from Nathaniel. Nathaniel writes in, how do you share a calendar with somebody in your organization?
Great question there. So obviously here we're in our mail section. If we come over into our calendar and we can set, I got to move out my GoToMeeting. Right here are all the sharing features. So we can share calendars. I can send a calendar to whomever I want to. I can also create permissions. Whoops, sorry, it might be since I'm not connected. Whoops, it's running a little slow. Wow, in the demo, made it perfect. But go into and judge it right there from those calendar permissions. And here we go. So I can decide, do I want to give read access, write access, other access, whatever it may be. And for whatever reason, my Outlook is now not responding. So again, perfect timing in that I think that was the last question, so it made it to the very end. So I would like to end with a big thank you for everyone for attending. I hope you found the session to be informative. Again, we are always love to get feedback. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you would like to see in the future. Other than that, have a fantastic Easter weekend, and we will see everyone soon.